So this is different from the videos that I normally upload, but I feel very passionately about this, and I wanted to touch on it and talk a little bit about it, just to throw my 2 cents out into the ether that is the internet, I guess. Now, most of you know I have been taking a extended break from Identity V, and one of the games I've been playing during this break is League of Legends. Now, due to my, more involvement with the game, I've been watching some of the content published by the developers, Riot Games, onto YouTube to kind of, showcase the new seasons and stuff. And one of these changes I noticed was the new requirement coming in the near future that will force players to be running Vanguard to play League.
Starting in a few weeks, you'll be required to install Vanguard in order to play League.
Now, what is Vanguard, you may be asking?
Vanguard is our proprietary anti-cheat and anti-botting software.
In my opinion, Vanguard is pretty much just spyware. Unlike a lot of anti-cheats, Vanguard runs at the kernel level. Well, something running at the kernel level is more privileged than a system administrator. This is the best way that I can explain it. It is pretty much the most privileged thing you could have. It's got the top dog, if you will. It has hooks essentially into everything and can do everything. You can barely even monitor this thing if you are concerned about it being malware, etc., etc. Now, it's not like kernel level anti-cheats are not a thing, unfortunately. In my opinion, this should not exist in general, an anti-cheat at this deep of a level, but other games do use it. One of the biggest issues with Vanguard specifically is Vanguard is constantly running, it seems. It is on 24/7, which is a huge problem. Now, to my understanding, you can turn Vanguard off manually, but it doesn't only boot up when you're running the game and go away after. It doesn't pack its bags and go home once you close off League of Legends or Valorant. It stays running in the background. Now, I don't know about you, but I would rather not download a rootkit from a Chinese conglomerate or a company owned by a large Chinese conglomerate that recently lost source code after hackers broke into their system. I'd be okay without them having 24/7 kernel level access to my machine, thank you. Now, if you trust Riot Games to have a driver on your computer, you know what, be my guest, I suppose. I would really hope that your privacy and security, honestly, are more valuable to you than that, but if you really want to play League of Legends or Valorant, I guess go for it. There's nothing stopping you. This is not like a video saying that people should boycott the game. The part that really frustrates me, I think the most about this, is the fact that they are introducing Vanguard to League to cut down on the amount of cheaters in the game, right? There's a lot of cheaters in League. It's fair. There's a lot of bots. There's a lot of scripters. Understandable. But the problem with that is Vanguard is not an infallible system. Not at all. Vanguard was introduced into Valorant when Valorant launched. I believe less than a week, people could bypass Vanguard. People still are able to bypass Vanguard and run cheats above it. It is not an infallible system. You can beat it, and there are multiple methods of which to beat it. Now, it's a lot harder to beat it than whatever piece of shit anti-cheat League of Legends is currently using. Don't get me wrong. It's a very difficult thing to beat. But it's still beatable. And the people running these cheats, the people purchasing them for hundreds or thousands of dollars, the people that are using these things, they don't care. They don't care that someone might have to, the cheat developer might have to also write a kernel level driver or something like that. It doesn't matter to them. So who's really losing here? It's us. It's the normal person. It's the end user that loses from all of this. Because at the end of the day, all this is really going to do, it will break all the current cheats in League. It will. Pretty much all of the ones that exist right now are going to go kaput overnight once Vanguard is introduced. But they will be back within 6 months, if not less. So where does that leave the rest of us? The normal people that just want to play the game. Well, that leaves us with Riot Games having extremely deep hooks into our machine and pretty much monitoring it 24/7. All it does is strip away the privacy and the security of normal everyday users that just want to have fun. It's ridiculous. In my opinion, this is a huge problem, that games seem to be straying towards creating these sophisticated systems that have full control over your computer, that are extremely deep in there, and have absolutely no semblance of giving you any sort of privacy whatsoever. And I think that's very sad. And I'm sure there's people that disagree with me, which is fair. But I think this is an important discussion to have. And personally, I will not be running League unless I can figure out a way to boot it in a virtual machine at the very least, which I know Vanguard apparently fights against VMs, which is another very unfortunate thing. But unless I can have this running with at least one layer of separation between that and my main kind of bare metal thing, I'm not touching the game. It's a fun game. I love it. It's a great way to pass time, but I can't. There needs to be a line drawn in the sand, in my opinion. We as users really should be coming together to say that this is not okay. It's not okay for developers of games to expect us to run these extremely, extremely invasive programs just to play their game. That's not good, and it shouldn't exist.